Good morning, everyone. I'm going to have another recap on the FTSE, and I'm just going to start off from since the beginning of the year. The volumes have been pretty dire, and it's been very hard to really make anything substantial. And with the FTSE, after the first week's opening moves that we had, where we had a pretty strong move to the upside, we've pretty much been treading sideways in a 100-tick range. And this is the initial move that we had up at the back part of last year and the beginning of this year. And then since then, as you can see, we've just been ranging sideways between about 55.50 and 56.70, and we've been slightly having lower highs. And the first resistance point we had was at 56.81. Then we found resistance again at 72, and then again at 70. So we've been slightly coming off ever so slightly the highs, but same with the lows as well. We've been getting lower lows, so we're in a very very gradual downtrend, as there's no real new money in that is really able to push this market higher. And this is where it seems like the market's found value as it is right now, especially with things going on in Europe. And it seems like this seems to be the place where the market is willing to just trade out until something changes, really. And if we look at this, I put in this trend line over here from this first initial high and to the points where we sort of touch these trend lines. And as you can see, it's actually been working very well, apart from this breakout here, in terms of a point where it's finding activity. So as you can see, this trend line that we put in sort of bounced off almost on this bar here, and then again over here. Then we when we had a third attempt at it, sort of played around that level, and then we sort of broke higher, and then we found this trend line being support over here at 56.03. And then as we continue to go further downwards, this is where we had the breakout. This was the move on Friday on the initial reports of a French downgrade. But then after we headed back above it, and then we found support again on this trend line at 55.61.5, and then we've just bounced back up again. So looking at this trend line seems to be pretty powerful right now in determining action around it. So I'm looking at this trend line quite a bit right now, and if we look at short-term targets, short to medium-term targets, I guess the simple thing to really do is just look at the range and play near the top or the bottom. So onto the top side, 55.64 seems to be the top of the range, so I'll be playing anywhere around this type of level here. And on the downside, I'll be trying to see how it plays out around this lower trend line and the bottom of the range too, which is around 55.30, 35. And so this is sort of level be looking to go long, and over here looking to go short. It's been very quiet, like I said, and there hasn't been much volume or conviction to really push it one way or the other. So while these volumes remain light, this is probably the best course of action, just playing between these two trend lines and this trend line that's going down. If we look at what's just happened today, been a bit of action today. Before the open, the futures were open before the cash open, we're sort of trending up, and we sort of bounced off this level 55.87, and then once we opened, this is where we sort of off the open we tested this lower trend line at 55.60, and then from there we bounced off quite big, and we had a 52-point rally all the way over here. And then once we came off this line, we sort of bounced perfectly off this initial resistance we had off the pre-cash open, and then we tested it to the tick again, and we had a double top, and we actually had two bites of the cherry here, where we traded at 56.12.5 twice before coming all the way back off almost towards the opening, which had actually came off to where we opened. And then since then we've just been trending slowly higher as low volume has been dictating the way, and we're just no one really pushing it one way or the other. As you can see from the initial activity in the morning, and this is where we had the initial push up high. As you can see, it's a bit more volume, but throughout the day the volume's got lower and lower as it is a US holiday today, and probably a few more traders are off than would normally be. So for the rest of the day, I'd say that we're probably just going to be petering sideways unless some type of comment comes out anywhere from the ECB. They tend to do it during these type of US holidays anyway, but in absence of that, can't really see there being a strong move one way or another. Could just see it just petering sideways out, and so for the rest of the week I'll just be looking towards these up and lower channels and try to play around there. Till next time, thank you.